been a while since I've done this. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alice. I am a 30-year-old Bristol-based printmaker, and I basically want to have like a shareholder meeting with myself today because I am the business that is Alice Thomas Prints. And I think setting goals and intentions for a year is good. Basically this year I'm kind of on the Lunar New Year calendar side of things. I had a holiday booked in January, and I feel like sometimes you can really just snap back into it, but I wanted to ease myself into things this year and do it at a speed that works for me. So that's why we're here. Anyway, so lovely to see you. I hope you had a fabulous new year and festive season. I do have a vlog filmed from the end of last year. Basically, long story short, I was very worn out by the end of the year. Which we'll get into, I guess, looking at this year's goals. So I thought that we could talk about what I want to do this year, maybe have a little look at what I wanted to do last year and how well that went, and also I think like break it down into like 3-month chunks, like what I want to look into do the next 3 months, because like sometimes goals can be really big and you want to kind of make them less scary. I'm also really rusty at this. Can you tell? I can tell. But like, let's move through this together. Anyway, so last year I had 4 big goals. I realized I didn't make a YouTube video on it or anything, so spoiler alert, this is what I wanted to accomplish last year. And I think the best way to like look at these goals and why they were what I was focusing on was kind of look where I was at this time a year ago. I had just finished a 2-year artist residency, which by the way, if you want me to make a video about my time as an artist resident, what that means, like what residencies are, I'm totally happy to do that. I would love to talk about it. So I had just finished that, and I had like desk space out of my home as part of that, and I kind of feel like I had that 2-year residency where it was kind of like time to like develop and play and kind of see what I wanted out of my creative practice. And then I was like, oh, playtime is over. It's time to like put the putch in motion. Anyway, so all that to say, I wanted to take a ceramics class, which I can tell you that I did. It went great. I'm still doing it and still loving it. I wanted a hobby that was a hobby because I'd essentially been a true millennial and monetized my hobby and made a printmaking business, which, don't get me wrong, I don't regret. If I could printmake every day and make money from it, wow, like that's a dream to me. So but all that to say, you obviously look at things slightly differently because you are hoping to sell them. Whereas ceramics, I wanted to make something with my hands that was like similar but also completely different. Needless to say, I'm loving it. I had ceramics last night and I'm making a lamp base at the moment. That I can say, big tick for last year. I guess one more link to the business side of things specifically, or creative practice side of things, is to make 4 collections a year. I think my mindset with this was to kind of have like more a cohesive portfolio, and I guess maybe make it like easier for me to be like, okay, like I don't know, the 1st of May I'm going to release these, and then the 1st of September release, and like kind of make it a bit more like maybe seasonal and kind of all that type of thing. That didn't happen. That didn't remotely happen. What I will say is I made 10 separate pieces, like 10 different wait, they're not collections. Obviously I do editions. There we go. That's weird. Big brain. It's not that I didn't make anything, I just didn't make them in the form of collections. And I think looking back at this goal, I need to meet myself where I am. Like, I have a part-time job. This is not my full-time gig. By any stretch of the imagination, I also do freelance work as well. That's actually probably the next sit-down video I'm gonna make, is me talking about how I make money. I feel like that was maybe a bit unrealistic for where I was at. I think maybe in the future, if I'm doing this full-time, which I would love to do, I could maybe see myself doing more like drops. But also, when looking back at that, I am not a machine, I am not a factory, and like even the artwork I make, like I print it all. Like, I feel like I'm saying printmaker so many times. Like I don't like get like photographs taken of an oil painting and then them sent to me so I can sell those as editions. Like, I print them all. So maybe having like a big like drop side of things, like yes, obviously you can have different prints and stuff, maybe isn't so realistic for my creative practice and where it is at the moment. But also kind of halfway through the year, this goal morphed into 4 markets a year, and I did 3 out of 4 markets last year, which I think was really good. One of those markets was 4 days, so I kind of like see this as a win. It was the first time that I had seen one of my tote bags out in the wild and it was somebody that I didn't know, like it wasn't like a friend or family member or anything. And that like blew my mind. Like a guy came up, I don't know if he's gonna watch this video, thank you so much for coming to see me and say hello, came up to me and showed me my bag, and he was just like, yeah, no, I use this bag all the time, it's great. And I was like, what the fuck? Crazy. And there was so many lovely people. But yeah, and then also last but not least, I guess kind of what brings us to here is creating an online presence. So last year, at the beginning of the year, I was just using my personal Instagram, and I do have another YouTube channel where I usually talk about like beauty and lifestyle stuff, but like I've not posted on in like a year. I kind of felt like I needed to create something separate, which for a long time I was resisting because I am a multifaceted being, so why wouldn't my Instagram be multifaceted? But like ultimately I found myself quite paralyzed with what I felt like I could post and what not. Like if I was like out with my friends, if I was like out with my friends, like do I want to post a picture of me with my friends if you're like just interested in my artwork, and like are my school friends that interested in my artwork, you know what I mean? Anyway, so also I guess something I want to touch on with that is I think it was good for me to like have a play. Like clearly I'm making a YouTube video. I love YouTube so much and I love making YouTube videos. So that for me was a no-brainer. But I also made a TikTok and I've deleted it because TikTok was so bad for my mental health. I'm glad that I gave it a go. I'm glad that I know that it's not for me. I'm an Instagram girly. Again, like as I said, I was like resisting making another Instagram, which like I appreciate is not that deep, but like it was something that I was struggling with. And I much prefer just having a separate Instagram account. I use it more, I enjoy it more. I don't enjoy TikTok. I feel like, well, this could be another video. But TikTok's not for me, so I've left like my profile's still up if you want to go look at it, I guess, but I'm not posting on it anymore, and I am happy for that. I found like what works for me, which is good. I feel like that is a positive that's come from the online presence and like being like, okay, no, I do want to have a separate situation. And so I've also done that with like my big cartel and all that type of stuff. There were so many highlights from last year too. Like I feel like in many ways it was the best year for my business, for my creative practice by many metrics. I have become a member of People of Print, and I am also a brand ambassador for a screen printing company. But in other ways it wasn't a good year for me because I did not look after myself at all. I feel like, and that's also kind of why I wanted to do this today, I guess, with myself. I really was not looking after myself. I was not looking after my well-being. I was ignoring the signs from my body, and that is unsustainable. My main goal this year is to take care of myself, and I can also read into this how many different ways. All the cliches are true. All the cliches are true. You can't pour from an empty cup. And what's interesting is like now, like I'm out the other side. Like I truly did crawl to the finish line. That was 2023. Like I was running on fumes, and as I said, it's just not sustainable and not fun. Like I want to continue, like no matter where my creative practice takes me, whether it's my full-time job in the future or I stop selling stuff and just give stuff to my friends and family, or no one, just make it for myself, you know, wherever, like that's not going to change. Like that, it will always be constant to me. Like I can never see myself not creating something. So I feel like I put so much pressure on myself, and like, it sounds dramatic, like made myself ill. So I need to take better care of myself. And you know, like what's interesting now is like I'm seeing the fruits of my labor. I know it's not sustainable. So taking care of myself, drinking more water, moving my body, cooking food rather than just eating bread. I know that we're looking at this in the context of a small business or a creative practice, but you know, I've got one life. So it's all kind of one. I endeavor you to be softer with yourself. Like if I don't meet a goal of mine, but I know that I've tried and it's not been, you know, I've kept this hard boundary of, you know, backing myself essentially, then I'm okay with it. All that to say, I do have some other goals too. The next one is to hone my illustration style. Whenever I talk about myself, I always refer to myself as a printmaker and not an illustrator. I always say I am not an illustrator, which might sound like I'm putting myself down, that's not how I view it at all. It's, you know, like, I have been trained, my degree is in graphic design, and throughout my entire degree process I was very type-based. Like, I was very much into like typography, and if I did ever use imagery, honestly it was largely photography that I lent on. So it's funny that now I make predominantly image-based prints. Like, I do have a letterpress set, which I do have a new print that I want to make today with it, like, and I love having a letterpress and I think that's really fun for me, but ultimately 99% of my work is image-based, and I just kind of like fell into it, I guess. Like, when I say like hone my illustration style, like I don't think I'm bad at drawing or, you know, carving into lino or whatever. Sorry if I got a piece of hair that's like sticking out here, I'm so sorry if that's bothering you. I'm not saying it to put myself down, but I feel like it's almost something that I've kind of like stumbled across and like not really like thought about, because I don't like hate how my work looks. Like, I wouldn't sell it, I wouldn't make it into a lino, I wouldn't take it through that process if I didn't like it. But I feel like there's work to be done, and also like I feel like even illustrators, or like more, I guess, painters and all that type of thing, kind of see themselves like their style is ever evolving. I just feel like I've not sat down and gone, how do I want things to look? I've just kind of like enjoyed printing and made some images along the way, and I kind of feel like there needs to be a bit more of an equilibrium and something that I want to look into. So that's my second goal. My third goal is to do 4 more markets. Again, like as I'm mentioning, a online presence. I do think, you know, connecting with the community I live in. I'm not at the moment looking to do markets particularly further afield out of the southwest. Like, maybe I'd do a market in London, but the thing is like at that point it's getting quite expensive, to be honest, to pay to stay in a hotel, to drive up and all that type of thing. It's not that I wouldn't do that, but like, we're baby steps, baby. We're being soft with ourselves, you know. I have a market in a month, which is indoors. It's 6 hours, and after doing Bath Christmas Market, which is 4 days outside, like, absolutely sounds like a cakewalk. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope to see you there February 25th, Bristol Trinity Centre, if you're local. And I've applied to 2 more, which I'm waiting to hear back from. So and those are still, one's in March and one's in April. So really hitting it out of the park. I feel like doing Bath Christmas Market on my own was absolute like baptism. Like, what's so interesting, I talked to my mum about this is an absolute tangent. Once we got stuck in an airport for 10 hours, so like being in an airport now just doesn't bother me. I feel like that's how I'm feeling about markets, but like maybe ask me in February if that's the case. Last but not least, it's be consistent with social media. So again, another way to connect with other people that might like my work or like-minded people is the internet. So I would say I am pretty consistent with Instagram. My Instagram is AliceTPrints if you want to follow me there. I post there most weekdays, whether that's on stories, whether that's a reel, whatever. Ultimately, short form content is the easiest to make, but all that to say, like, I still love YouTube. So I still want to make YouTube channel videos, but YouTube channel videos? Wow, okay, Alice. I still want to make YouTube videos, so I'm going to continue to do that. But again, I'm hoping to post twice a month. We'll see. It's something that I enjoy, and I think it's just something I need to continue with, but also make it manageable. Like, I don't want to stress myself out about it. We're not here to stress ourselves out over the internet. No. So lastly, I realize I've been just chatting non-stop for 20 minutes. I did want to talk about like the next 3 months. I feel like when you have like big year goals, they can kind of be like, okay, like this is your goal, but how are you going to get there? What are the steps that you're going to take to get there? And I feel like almost like looking at it in like 12-week blocks or like 3-month blocks, it just makes things more manageable and like more achievable, because you are looking at the steps that are going to get you to where you want to go. So for the next 3 months, as I've mentioned, I've already got 1 market in the bag. I guess like 2 for when talking about honing my skill is I want to do the artist's way. This will be my 3rd time starting it, but I feel like now I've kind of like, what I want to say understood. I don't know, I've kind of like got to grips with it. And again, like I'm still being soft with myself. For example, like morning pages, you're supposed to do them as soon as you wake up. I sometimes start work at 6:30. I'm not setting my alarm for 4:30 so I can do that. Like when I first did it, I did that and it was like, I was a fucking mess. So if I'm doing them on my break at work, which is at like 10 a.m, then fine, great. You know, like I'm still doing the thing, just maybe, you know, making it work for me. Because I feel like bending the rules and completing it is better than doing it and then not doing it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do that because also I feel like that can help with honing my illustration style. But then also I'm doing Printer's Solstice as well. But again, if there's a prompt that I don't like or I don't think I have a good idea for, I'm not gonna do it. I went on holiday. I'm not worried about it. I'm on holiday. Like I'm enjoying myself. I'm taking a break. I'm prioritizing rest. So I'm doing Printer's Solstice and I'm not beating myself up about that. Or let's say I've done like 2 prints that I really like. So great. Again, that's a bit just like a bit of play, having some fun. There's also 2 big screen printing projects that I want to do. So I think that's gonna keep me busy. I would love to know what your goals are for the next 3 months, the year, even if it's just one. As I said, like I think setting intentions, maybe goal is the wrong word, intention. We're talking about intentions. You shall see me again soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!